Well, welcome to Become a Clear Channel. Become a Clear Channel is the gateway to connection with the divine above you, the divine around you, and the divine within you. That connection is what will plant your feet solidly on the ground, solidly. It will lift your eyes to vistas and visions you never thought you could behold. It will gather your energies and organize them into a towering, overarching purpose and set you on a never ending path of discovery that will leave you more at peace with yourself and those around you than you thought was possible, and will make you blessed, grateful, and overflowing with goodness, with love and tough love. Always kind, however, bringing good to others out of the goodness you have been ready to receive. Becoming a clear channel will put you on the way to the courage that shines bright lights on the dark corners of your life that scare you, that make you want to look away, or actually make you actually turn away. It will give you the hope and then the satisfaction of hope fulfilled, that the dark corners are where some of the light is for you and everyone you come in contact with. It will hold a mirror up to you that shows your cuts and bruises, your growing edges, and beyond all that, your divine beauty and attractiveness. It will lead you to see those places where transformation is really happening, and where transformation is not a wish or a claim that you can back up. It will enable you to use your name and the word transformation in the same sentence, and not be as I've been until the last few weeks, in which I have been saying I could hardly ever, or I could never use those two words together, I or me and transformation. They didn't go together. But now I have things that I can point to and I can't disagree with. I could argue myself sore in the throat, but it would not matter, because these are powerful changes. Becoming a clear channel will lead you to unfathomable and inexhaustible gratitude for finding your growing edges and giving them what they need to make you who you are meant to be. And that's just for starters. If those are things that interest you, if they're calling, hollering, shrieking at you, get the connection you're meant to have. Be the connection you're meant to be. Love yourself and others as you had never imagined you had it in you. Then you're in the right place. Good for you. Good on you, as our Australian friends say. Good on you for stepping up and stepping into this world of new possibilities. Possibilities you may have wished for, but always thought were beyond reach. Possibilities you believed were for others, but not for you. Possibilities that you could become a kinder, gentler version of yourself, and then discover that kinder, gentler version is who you really are and who you are meant to be. And when you've discovered those possibilities, you will still have the toughness that you've needed and used to take you and bring you to this turning point. You're in the right place. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for being here. Now put your hands over your heart, as I'm putting mine over mine, and say thank you to yourself. Here, let's do this together. You just follow my lead. Thank you, self. You say that. Thank you, self, for paying attention to my desire and longing to be a person who will do what needs to be done, to love myself and others as I love myself, as fully, as powerfully, as deeply as I love myself, more than I ever knew I could. more than my highest expectations. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are the right people. We are the right people in the right place. And that doesn't mean we are different from others or better than others. We are actually connected with others. And because of that, our own inner power, our own inner experience can be a bridge to other people. Now, let's come together under the umbrella of the 5 sacred secrets of channeling. The 5 sacred secrets are today's agenda. Let's feel how this umbrella covers us, shields us, helps us keep our eyes on the world and on the vision to be transformed and to transform. And as we turn to the work of the day, I want to tell you my channeling story. But first, I need to take a brief moment to check and see if we have. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why you don't have an. Oh, Derek, your audio is. Derek, it's saying your audio is off. Well, it's not. That didn't work. But anyway. So anyway, Derek. Well, if you can, you would still at least have the chat. So if you have questions you'd like to bring to the webinar, then just put them in the chat and I'll check there. Okay. Very good. Thank you. So I had just started Pamela Landers and Beth Davis's year-long program in fingerprint and handprint analysis. I wanted to learn my life purpose. From time to time in that first day of the course, Pamela would say, my guides are telling me, they're telling me this, they're telling me that. I wondered what on earth she could mean. The second day of the program, at our morning ritual, in which we gathered our energies and set our intentions, I felt a very tall, maybe 7 foot tall being to my left side and another one to my right side. And I mentioned that to the others and they said, those are your guides. It's like, well, okay, if you say so. I had no idea. Months later, I found my purpose in lines of clairvoyance and other lines of my hands. The lines said, my teachers told me, that I'm highly intuitive, clairvoyant, even psychic. My response was, huh? Me? Who are you? Are we talking about the same person? Not only that, I was to use these gifts of clairvoyance, intuition, and psychic power as a spiritual teacher. And part of my focus as a spiritual teacher would be on the dark aspect of life. That was the messages written in the lines of my hands. I thought I had to do something with this gift, and that was true. But I've seen many other intuitive people think that they have to learn how to use their intuition. What I believe I've discovered is that the big issue is being intuitive. What did it mean to be intuitive? But first I had to know that I'm intuitive. I didn't know how to tell. I asked Beth and Pamela, how could I know? How can I tell that I'm intuitive? You can see it, but I can't. And Beth said, you need to experience it. At the next follow-up call for the course, she asked members of the group if anyone would volunteer to have me do an intuitive reading for them. A rancher and horsewoman in the Australian outback said she would. Beth said to her, just ask Russ a question. This woman said, my son is 14. I don't know how to talk to him. and without hesitating, I mean in the blink of an eye, no pause at all, none. I said, ask him. I didn't say, well, the parenting books recommend blah, 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 or this is what the experts say. It was just ask him. This woman objected. That would be like giving away her power or responsibility as a mother. And Beth could tell that I was ready to say, ask him, but not ready to discuss, ask him, or to explain it. So she said, what Russ is saying is your son is getting older. He needs to not have you always looking over his shoulder, but he does need you to be there sometimes. And as his mother, you want to be there for him so that if he needs to talk something over, you're there and you know how to negotiate that space. That made sense to her. She and her son had that talk. It was so funny because I asked her how it went and she said, she put her thumbs up. Well, I knew then, I really knew that I'm intuitive because I had no way of knowing how on earth I was going to answer that question. So one way to define intuition is knowing without being told. And as I said, knowing a voice said to me, well, the literature on Paranet, as I said that, it doesn't say whatever it says. A true, solid, reliable answer popped out of my mouth. Another definition of intuition is knowing without knowing how we know. That definition works beautifully here. So if you look at this event just below the surface, you can see that that was not only an experience in intuition, it was also an early experience of channeling. I had no way to know that. There's no way I could have known that, oh, this is channeling. The words just popped out of me. Where did they come from? The message came to me and I spoke it. I might as well have been speaking in a trance. Another channeling by Sage Taylor Kingsley Goddard sealed the deal. Sage was and is my spiritual teacher and my business coach. Yes, spiritual teacher and business coach go together. I was in the heart seat, which is what she called hot seat. She channeled Archangel Michael, who suddenly said immediately, Jesus was speaking up. And Jesus said he knew how I had stood up for him in seminary when I opposed the views of a world famous scholar of the day about how to interpret the Gospels. I started to cry. I felt so opposed, so alone in opposing this man and his teaching that I never told anyone else about my opposition. No one. So my teacher had clairvoyant knowledge of this, not the whole story, but just enough to make Jesus' point. Then and there, I knew the channeling had benefited me. I started to journal, and before long, I recognized that the voices coming through my journaling were more than my own voice, all by itself. Soon I thought, or rather I was guided to think, that I wasn't the only one who was suffering from the things I suffered from. So I created a group on Facebook that I call the Channeling Group. I've invited a few friends who are interested in, spirituality to join me. Then one by one, people have learned about the Channeling Group and have asked to join. And now we have 135 members. 100 of them have come, actually, except for the ones that I invited, they have all learned about the Channeling Group by some other resource, or somebody has pointed them to the group. Now I have dozens of messages that have come to me, and for some reasons, I've never worried that I might be channeling a negative entity. I wondered whether I would. I wondered, but I never worried. Why? Because the guides, as we in the channeling community call them, the ones who spoke to me and who speak through me are invariably kind and generous. I can't speak for other people's guides and what they say to others, but that's how they treat me. And what's more, I now say that channeling is transforming me. I'm less angry. I'm less inclined to the outbursts that have played me back to my childhood and that have cost me raises, advancement in my department, and ultimately my part-time job teaching healthcare ethics in retirement. My newfound trustworthy kindness toward myself spills over into my relationship with others. I'm kinder toward them. I'm clearer about boundaries and what I will tolerate and what I won't. I maintain those boundaries in a way that I consider to be increasingly respectful and kind. I understand channeling and what's happening in it, so that now I'm well prepared to teach it. Experienced channelers like the messages that come to me, and they say they receive benefit from it. With these experiences and these messages of support from others who understand what I'm doing, I believe I'm totally competent to offer this webinar and teach what I'll be teaching here today. And the big deal is this: what I don't know, I can learn, or I can bring in colleagues who do know. What I can't do, I will learn, or I will ask those who can do it to do it for us and for our clear channel community. So that brings us to the 5 secrets of channeling. I'm going to take a brief pause again to see if there are messages. I'm not seeing any messages in the chat, but if you have questions, or like Judy, do you have a question? Or okay, so let's dig right in. Channeling is what is channeling? Channeling is receiving messages about human life and the life of spirit that do not come from ordinary human resources. The channeler accepts that they're being asked to lend their skills, their heart, their mind, their language to higher messages about the human good. The words are, in some sense, theirs, of course. Who else's could they be? And in some sense, that's important because our own jokes, our own sense of humor, our own sense of what's right and wrong or powerful, we can't avoid having them touch the messages that we receive. And yet the messages are more than those of the channeler. They're more than the channeler, at least speaking for myself. At the same time, channeling expands the heart. It expands the mind. It expands the vocabulary the channelers have available to communicate these extraordinary messages. And that is all part of the transformative experience that channeling involves. Different people channel in different ways. Some channel a whole host of divine beings, gods and goddesses. These people are receptive to the subtle influences and to the sensitivities of various divine beings. Some channel one divine entity primarily. My teacher and business coach, Sage Taylor Kingsley, specializes in Archangel Michael, but she also channels many other sources as they speak up. Some channel about almost entirely personal subjects. My own channeling focuses on my anger and reactivity, my disappointment about myself, and many other personal matters. Lo and behold, as I thought, some people resonate with these messages. What is being said to me, they take as being said to them. So channeling is not just about spouting one's own opinions. It's not writing down our own thoughts and feelings. These days, meaning ever since 1948, when a weather balloon came down in my home state of New Mexico, there have been a lot of questions and a lot of dogma about whether there is communication between Earth people and beings from elsewhere in the universe. Here's a funny thing about that. People doubt that such communication exists, or they're dead certain that it does. And they're going to find those ways. They find ways to track down non-communication or communication. They use photographic devices on expensive, hyper expensive airplanes to prove that something is down there floating around doing something, that there's contact between the universe outside of Earth and the universe here. There was a simpler way. It could have been done more easily. There's a quicker way, cheaper way, a way that's more fun. What is it? Ask us. Ask us mystics. We could have told them, yes, there is communication between realms of reality. There is communication among these realms. We know we're a part of it. One member of a program I took said that the Earth was not her home planet. Some members of the channeling group say that they represent, I never figured out how to say this. I call it Pleiadians, but it may be Pleiadians, I don't know, or Andromedans. The US government bases its report on UFOs and video footage captured by military aircraft. It doesn't mention talk to any of us mystics. We could have told them about aliens and a lot about Earthlings' communication with extraterrestrials and saved them a lot of money, which we could have used ourselves. So these secrets of channeling, these are 5 secrets that I rely on, that I use all the time, secrets that I have grown into and have grown to become part of me. They help me and they help others who use them to live a more spiritual, intuitive, happy, and divinely guided life. At the end of our time together, if you want to go deeper, I promise to tell you how you can receive further support for your path as a clear channel, so you can live a life of greater spiritual connection, joy, and success. The 5 sacred secrets have come to me as an acronym. The acronym is BLEST, B-L-E-S-T. Blessed is a different way, an alternative way to spell blessing. It's my overall summation of the process and results of channeling. It's how I feel when I finish receiving a message, or even when I'm in the middle of it. Secret number 1, being open to receive. I was at a spiritual workshop one time, and the leader said, we have so much to receive. That hit me like a ton of bricks. Well, I don't know, more friendly than a ton of bricks. But believing that the universe is friendly, believing that the universe is friendly to you, recognizing that there are unfriendly powers within the universe, and that many of these powers live within us. Recognizing that some powers will hurt us and others, avoiding them, recognizing that your inner critic and self-talk can be toxic inner voices, but also being open to believe that you can learn to turn these tools of pain, tools of suffering, into aids for you on your path. They can help you be mindful of the goodness that is there, be mindful of its gifts to you. Being open to being mindful that the benefits you experience can be useful to others, that you are not receiving these blessings just for yourself, although that's never to be disparaged, never to be criticized, because the only way that we can serve others is to have received ourselves. So be ready and open to share your brief stories, being open to being ready to share your brief stories of benefits with others who may find something there that resonates with them. I'm amazed at how I may put in only 5 or 10 lines in a post in the channeling group. And people say, beautiful, lovely, thank you. It's like, well, thank you. Being open to being confident that the benefits you receive will bring good to others. Being open to belonging to a larger world, a world that is kind. Now, the second sacred secret is letting yourself receive. So that's being open, letting yourself receive, letting yourself receive continually from the highest levels of the universe and from human beings, including your own higher self. As I mentioned, we have so much to receive. This is a statement that I believe, and believe me, I had reason to learn this study. I retired bitter and crushed. I required to think that I had had a stellar career when I had had a stumbling career. When my colleagues in my department had enabled me by leaving me alone, pushed to be pushed off to the side. For years, I imagined, or I was certain, that I would die bitter and unfulfilled. Letting yourself receive means learning that people who talk about rewriting our story and changing our life through changing our story, they're onto something. They're onto something powerful, important, and life-changing. Something powerful and important for you. Channeling involves communicating with higher being, with higher levels of existence, with letting that happen, with noticing how it benefits you, with accepting the benefits of this communication and letting it flourish within yourself, letting it grow, explode, become not just a single flower that in its own origami unfolds before the world, but letting yourself flourish into a whole bouquet of many flowers of all kinds and colors that show you what a beautiful world you live in, but also that help remind you what a beautiful person you are. It also means letting yourself recognize whatever barriers to receiving you have and to accept that without fighting it. There's no need to fight any of this. We can simply accept all of this as true. Secret number 3, experiencing. Experiencing is about taking the messages that we receive, the messages, the conversations that we conduct with entities that our ordinary senses cannot connect with, and recognizing that these are really happening. Experiencing that these different messages make a difference in your life over time. After a while, you'll notice that you are, say, less touchy, less reactive, less likely to cringe and beat up on yourself, more likely to be able to maintain calm and quiet. This morning, my guides said to me, this is the message that they gave me. Settle, settle, down, 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 there, like that. Settle, settle into this sacred space that we're giving you for this important work that you're doing for us and others. So I was experiencing in that way the benefits of channeling, becoming settled. And a lot of things have happened today that have been unsettling. But the major message, settle into the settledness. Be there, trust it. We are here for you. We have your back. I don't like to use that here because it's so commonplace, but we have you. You are in our hands. Experiencing is more than knowing, intellectually knowing in your mind. It's more than having an idea. Not that mind is a bad thing. We cannot live without mind, but we also need more than mind. Experiencing is more than having an idea about something or a thought about it. It's being able to point to before and after, being able to say the specifics about how you've benefited. I used to be this way, or when I started this conversation, I was here, and now I'm here. Experiencing that you are part of a tradition that goes back thousands of years. And that whatever, for example, you think of Rumi, that he is part of a tradition that you are part of. And when he says, "Be still, my little friend, and I will come be with you." In those traditions, people appealed to their muses to open up and to enable them to practice their craft of formulating poems or telling stories or other things. Is experiencing from other people that have been through something like channeling that you are going through. I once told a student in our department's clinical pastoral education program that I had a stuffed mother cheetah and cub. The student asked me, I got such a kick out of this. She said, "Does the cheetah ever talk to you?" I had no idea that that question was coming. That was one of the surprises, which is the next secret. It came to me after I bought her, and I never expected that she would talk to me and say, "What about this? What about that?" People experience channeling in other ways. Before a particular woman starts a painting, she picks up the canvas that she's going to be painting on, and she asks her what it's going to be. Then when she's finished, she asks what it's about. She cannot write fast enough to take down the entire message, she says. Some people channel trees. At one time I did that with the magnolia tree in our backyard. It told me its name. Sage told me that that was really something. It was willing to tell me its name. I have to go back to my records and find out what that name is and get back out and talk to it, especially because a year or so ago, I didn't talk to it before we had it severely pruned. Some people channel animals. One woman tells of her encounter with a black panther who had a name that it didn't like. The panther was difficult to control and inclined to violence. After extended conversation with him, he calmed down and became pleasant. People tell us this kind of thing is impossible, but I don't know how you tell that to that woman. Okay, so far we've had being open, we've had letting ourselves receive, we've had we've had experiencing, knowing from the inside what's going on. I'm going to stop for a minute and check to see if our messages or questions. Nope, not yet. So hang on. Where am I? The fourth point is surprised. And surprised in a way that satisfies you. Surprised by what comes through and how you benefit from it. Satisfied by that. Assured that something genuine and true is coming through to you and that you can rely on it. Assured that it's coming through to you well enough and clearly enough for other people to benefit from your experience. Even if you experience it as personal, even if it embarrasses you, or even if it has made you cringe in the past, but is not making you cringe as much now that you are open to let it affect you. And finally, secret number 5, trusting. Trusting that we are and can be reliable receivers from the divine. Learning that this odd, this unusual, this apparently unusual form of communication actually exists, occurs, and is beneficial to you. Trusting that as your skills develop with more consistency and more masterful practices, so you know that it's never going to dry up. Your ability to channel is accessible to you every day, any time. And for example, this morning, some of the channeling that I told you about before happened while I was getting dressed. And trusting that you are not alone. There are divine and human teachers who will show up for you at the right time. So receive the support you need. And for some of you, T stands for training or teacher. Because one of the things that we need is some higher companionship from experienced people who are experienced in channeling. Today, I've showed you how I learned that channeling to change my life and how it has changed. I've laid out 5 sacred secrets of channeling so that you can understand that the universe provides resources for you to connect with the highest and best that life can give you and make you blessed by this incredible power, this unbelievably sensitive and caring presence. This is happening because you're being open to receive. This is happening because you're letting yourself receive. This is happening because you're experiencing. You're not just taking in ideas, but you're experiencing the changes that it's bringing. And you're part of that experience is being surprised and satisfied by whatever is happening. And it's happening because you are trusting in the process. Does that resonate with you? If it does, then you can move beyond wondering and guessing. You can move beyond supposing whether channeling has anything to offer you. I have a program that I would call Learn to Channel, Change Your Life. This is a 9-session course spread over 5 months for people who are new to channeling. It will take you from basic concepts about spirituality that will help keep you oriented in this work and the spiritual practice on which you build your channeling. It will keep you thoroughly anchored in and committed to hands-on practice. You will write or speak the messages that come to you. I'll give you feedback on the messages. You will identify and use the spiritual practices that undergird your channeling. You will increasingly be able to distinguish your own words, your own tone, from those of the divine beings who speak through you. If you're so guided, or if you're so interested, you will explore messages from animals and trees. In his application to the channeling group, one member of the group included pictures of themselves hugging a tree. At the end of this time, you will have an anthology of 15 or more channelings that have come through you. Think of that. You will have documentation of this experience. You will have documentation of your channeling. And if you keep a journal alongside your actual channeling to describe what was going on while you were receiving a message, you'll have valuable side stories, valuable background stories that will give context and texture to the messages that you receive and share. At the end, you will write a paper about how what you have written describes your process describes what you have learned, what you would do differently, what you would change, and at least 2 conceptual lessons about spirituality and channeling that you have learned. You'll also have an intuition journal that you will have created for this program. If you already have an intuition journal, then you will have the pages that you've added. In addition to the course, there is one bonus. The first 3 people who agree to single pay will receive a private healing session. This session includes prayer, healing, reading of chakras and auras, coaching and counseling, and individuated mentoring that is related to what you need personally and what you need for your growth in channeling, and what you need in a way that is positive and life-changing. You know, the fact is, many of us come to channeling with wounds and sores. I did, and I still have some. And not only that, I keep discovering others. I used to say to myself, oh boy, I look forward to the day when I don't discover any more scars or scabs. What I find is that these are not blemishes. These are just issues that need attention so that our vision of the world around us is clearer, and especially is tainted as little as possible by our personal shadow. I'm qualified to provide you the healing because I'm a certified angelic miracle reader and healer. The value of this program, of this bonus, is $397. And one more thing, the course will accept only 10 applicants. Let me say that again. This course will be available to only 10 people for this price. After this webinar, the price of the program will be $997. For this time, and this time only, the price is $297. If you pay all at one time, it will be $297. And as I said, the first 3 people who sign up for this program at the price of $297 will receive a healing session as part of the whole program. If you choose 2 payments, the 2 payments will be $197 each for a total of $394. One pay saves you $97, almost $100. If you choose to enroll in Learn Your Channel, Change Your Life, you will know from experience that you are connected with higher reality and with your higher self. Your own experience will teach you that higher reality loves you and supports you. You will know from your own experience that what Einstein said is true. The universe is friendly. It's friendly toward you. It supports you. You will know it from experience that you can rely on the spiritual messages you receive. You will also learn to tell which messages have gone stale, which messages are, as they used to say in the Nixon era, no longer operative. You will know from experience that your inspiration, your inner peace, your joy, they have a solid foundation. If you choose to enroll, please use my business email address, which I've posted in the chat section. And I will contact you with other details about the program. Thank you for being here. And now I'm going to see and open up the mics to see whether there are any questions. So, hi, Judy.
Hi, Russell. question I had was, can you tell me more about what the 9 sessions are about?
Yes. The first of all, the early sessions, especially, are going to be about what a person wants from this program. Okay. But also what they fear about this program, because that will help me to craft a program that will be responsive to their personal needs and interest, but also will be responsive to the inner guidance that they are receiving for how to participate in this program. Because I cannot conduct this program on the basis that it's just them and me. Although I have to say that has been the attitude that I've had for a long time. It's the participants and me. But now I'm really clear. There comes a point where I'm not clear who's talking, me or some other power. And the same is going to be true for the participants. Are they talking only for themselves, or are they talking as another power speaking through them and helping to say, hey, here's an issue we need to discuss. Make sure we talk about it. Okay.
It's 9 sessions over 5 months. When are they scheduled?
Every 2 weeks.
Do you have a schedule yet at the time frame?
Yeah, the schedule will start on August 6th, and then it'll happen essentially every 2 weeks after that.
Yeah, do you have
If
the
there are
time?
problems with that, then those dates can be moved.
So it's a group, how long is each call?
Yeah, each one, it'll be primarily a Zoom context, and it'll be 60 minutes to an hour.
Okay. And you said this is for people who are new to channeling, yeah, right?
Well, that's primarily who the course is for. I'm assuming that experienced people can also benefit from it. And my guides are saying, yes, of course they can benefit, just as you, Russ, benefit from your colleagues in this group who channel in ways that you don't channel. So we have some people in the group who are trance channelers. I'm not a trance channeler. I may become one, but when I listen to their channeling, then I learn stuff. And so I'm assuming that people who come on board this program and who are experienced will learn things.
Is there going to be a workbook or some, like, how do you do the homework?
So far, the homework, I do not have a workbook yet, but I will create one. And part of the workbook will be about recording your own experiences with intuition. It will include other features like a gratitude journal. But the thing about the gratitude journal is it's not only about what you're grateful about. The gratitude journal is also about how you feel when you say what you're grateful about. It's about what is going through your whole being, through all of your chakras and everything, from the bottom of your feet up to your highest, up to the crown, and so on. As an example, one of the things I have a bit of a disability in terms of walking. I can walk well enough if I have to without a walking stick or a walker. But even when I go outside, like to get in the car and do something with the car, even then, I often have this wonderful feeling of well-being well up within me. Just saying, oh, I'm so grateful that I can walk. I'm so grateful that I can walk this well. I'm so grateful that I'm not demanding that I walk better to enjoy walking. Okay. So it's that kind of thing. So I do not have all of that worked out yet. But my guess is that with students and also with the guidance of my coach, we will have a really good workbook. I hope to say not at the end of this process, but actually well into it early on. Okay. These are wonderful questions, and they just show all of your experience as a teacher and leader. And I appreciate that.
You're welcome. This
Well,
is fabulous. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. That was really helpful, informative, and enlightening always. It's an area for me that is new. So I appreciate opening opening the possibilities. Thank you.
well, I'm glad to do that. Let me just say, a person recently almost signed up for this program on the basis of a promotional video that I was supposed to make for a coaching program. And he did that because he is a life coach. He didn't quite say this to me, but I infer what he means is I'm realizing as a life coach, there's something else that I can tap into.
Yeah,
Okay.
nice.
And so it's that feature of your own business and your own life that I'm talking about here. Okay.
Yeah, something untapped.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So what's next? What's next for you after this webinar?
What's next for me? Well, what's next for me is continuing to promote this program. I have many steps that I need to take. And so what's next will be getting some rest and then taking those steps. So,
Yes, for sure. For sure. Getting some rest is a great first next step.
well, yes, it really is. It really is.
Yeah. Well done. Well done.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
You're so kind.
Wonderful.
I appreciate
Wonderful.
that. I'm so glad that I got to know you at that first retreat.
Yeah,
That was marvelous.
it was. And you've come a long way, my friend.
Well, thank you. One of the big things that's happened is that I decided to put being a healer of healers, doctors, nurses, and others, on the back burner, because the thing that I really know something about and know something about quite well is channeling.
Oh.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I can offer this program knowing that I have, in a sense, an abundance out of myself that I can offer to others.
Yeah. So you're getting information that this is what to offer.
Yeah.
This
So
is,
anyway,
this is your
well,
offering.
anything else?
Uh,
What's next for you?
oh, the other thing I wanted to ask is, at the end you said if you want to sign up, what was the action?
The action, if you want to sign up, is you'll see in the chat my business email.
And what do people do with that?
just tell me that you want to, you either want to sign up for the program, and preferably that, or you'd like to have an exploratory conversation. But at this, so anyway, just tell me that that's what you'd like. If you do
Okay.
that, then I will have your email.
Well,
And
may I offer a alternative?
Of course,
Okay, is for the person to put their email in the chat directly. And then you do the reaching out, right? Give me the easy route instead of asking me to email you.
oh, I agree with you completely.
You know what I mean?
So,
So the ask is put your email in the chat
it
and I
is,
will send you an invitation to
no, it's in the
enroll.
chat. My email is in the chat.
No, this is what I'm
I'm-
being Russell. I'm being Russell right now.
I'm missing what you're saying. So go ahead.
Okay, so I'm being you right now, okay? If you'd like to enroll in this program, put your email in the chat and I
Of course.
will
So,
reach out to tell you how to enroll the
very
other
good.
way.
Very good.
That's an alternative because it makes it easier for the buyer, right?
Of course. Well, one of my lessons in life that I never finished learning, I hope one of these days, under the power of channeling, I will have less to learn. But the message that I've had, no, about this lesson,
Yeah,
just about this lesson,
yeah.
okay? And that lesson is, you got to do it the hard way, Russ.
Whatever the
So
hard way is,
your
Yeah.
idea is do it the easy way.
yes, do it the easy way.
Yes. And easy for you, easy for your clients, Russ,
Exactly.
will be
exactly.
easy for you too.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Nice. Do it the easy way, Russell. Okay, that's the lesson for you, huh? Make it
Now
make it
I have your email address, but anyway, I agree with what you're saying. The
make
other
it easy.
person who was here had to leave early. So he will learn from the replay that he needs to send me his email. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So thank you so much. Anything
Welcome.
else?
No, best wishes. Go do some rest and then offer it to the world. Get some rest, like you said, and then take your next steps.
Very good. Thank you. Bye.
Be well. Okay.
Take care.
Bye.